When you're starting from zero, how do you actually build a personal brand? I spoke to someone who went viral 3 times in 14 days and gained over 12,000 email subscribers in that time. And it was all organic, so she shares all of it here in this interview. With that said, here's Jennifer, aka the Vegan Tech Nomad, and her amazing story. I basically wanted to reach out because I joined your masterclass. It was 5 a.m. where I was at. So after you were finished, I was like, I need to go to bed. You
Oh,
go to bed. It is way too late. But
wow. I appreciate you waking up at that time for that.
absolutely.
Because it would have been 5 a.m. for me too. I'm usually in the West Coast, but I was traveling then, so it was 8 a.m. But it was still so early. I'm like used to
Really
waking
early.
up 1 p.m.
Are you still working a full-time job right now?
Yeah. I work for an education startup.
Very nice. I always like to start with how did you actually decide on a newsletter, or how did that world of newsletters come into your life?
Yeah, it was kind of unintentional because I started like I always heard you have to collect emails because otherwise you're gonna if you lose your account, that's it. And then you're like you have to rely on the algorithm and everything. So I always had that newsletter link in my bio. And it was like not active at all. I didn't post anything. It just said coming soon. It didn't even have any pictures or anything. It just said coming soon. You put your email, that's it. And then when I went viral, like a lot of the emails started pouring in, and I was like, oh, now I have to write one so I don't disappoint these people. So ever since then, I've just been writing it like every week or twice a week for premium subscribers.
Okay, yeah, I want to unpack that. You covered it in your masterclass, but can you cover a little bit about posting on social media and how you went viral, if you don't mind sharing that story?
Yeah, I actually posted about my systems multiple times. It's just it never took off, but I knew there was something there because everybody I talked to about this system, they're like, "Oh, this is so amazing, this is so unique." So I'm like, "There's something here," but I posted on TikTok, not Instagram. So
Hmm.
I was like to myself, "I'm gonna take this seriously in January." So then I started setting things up and like scheduling all my TikTok posts for Instagram. And then that was one of the posts that I had already posted on TikTok that I just scheduled on Instagram. And I think the timing was very good because it was in December. And that's when everybody's like trying to figure out their New Year's goals and like setting up healthier habits and resolutions and stuff. So I think that's why I went viral. And then I saw that and I was like, oh, it looks like people like this productivity content. Let me pull up some of the other Notion and other stuff that I do. So I just made videos and then like two more videos also went pretty viral. So it was just like the growth from that. But I was looking into the analytics today and I actually didn't, some of the videos I got a lot of views and comments didn't get me a lot of followers. It was the work documentation one that got me more followers and I'm assuming subscribers. So I'm gonna probably focus more on work and work productivity now, which is like I was gonna focus on food and travel, but that content's too hard for me to make anyway.
I guess when you pivot, you got to pivot. When you see success,
Yeah.
you got to go for it. I didn't know you wanted to start as a food and travel creator, but that
Yeah,
is
it's just too hard to make. Like I have a lot of vegan food photos and like travel photos because I was like, I can expense all my purchases now, all the plane tickets and stuff, but it's just really hard to edit those videos together and I never did it. So it's easier to film myself in my laptop screen.
basically showing your productivity templates to friends, and they were digging it. They were like obviously finding some value. How long have you been creating these Notion templates? Like, I guess how long did it take you to get the skill to like create that? Was it just solving a problem for yourself? How did you go from creating it to actually making it a product people would be willing to buy?
Yeah, I think personal brand is really big. Because I have to sell stuff for my work as well, and it's like people don't trust you unless they know you. So the difference between selling for work and for my own stuff was like super stark, and I was shocked by how much like being a creator, like how it's different. But for the Notion templates, I basically just made it myself. Like I learned how to do everything and I had some creative ideas. And I was like, why not just share it with people because I think it'll help them. So all my templates were actually free for like 2 months.
Mhm.
And I like extended the free period because I was like, might as well help more people. And then when I made it paid, I didn't expect to make any money from it, but it turns out people are willing to pay. So I was shocked by, I had these documentation about like financial planning, and it was, yeah, it was a lot more than I expected. And then for getting people to buy, it was just like a storefront. I get some people saying that like they can't afford, which I feel bad, but it feels like not fair to the people who've already paid if I just like start giving them out for free. Plus, I think that when you get stuff for free, you just never use it. Whereas if you pay for something, you kind of value it more. So I do have some, I usually redirect those people to some of the free templates and not the paid ones. And then of course, like my email newsletter is free.
Yeah,
Um, and then some people told me they were saving up, which I was like, oh, that's so nice.
that's the
And I
best
think
compliment.
yeah, and I think it's because they trusted me and it was like more relatable. Because when I'm trying to sell for work stuff, it's like, oh, there's a company. It's like if you just, yeah, like you don't know the person.
Would you have not posted your content for free if you were to do it over again, or would you just keep it the same because it built trust?
No, I think I would still keep it free, but maybe not for that long because I kept it free for like 2 months. Having it be free really helped with the growth, I think. But I know I could have made a lot more from paid, but I was kind of struggling for a while because I was like, I feel bad charging people for things. I'd rather charge companies, so like sponsors and stuff. But I'm gonna have multiple revenue streams anyway, and I feel like people don't value this stuff unless I charge a little bit for it. Yeah, I actually did my whole revenue breakdown today for my premium newsletter subs if you're interested in the finances.
$11 a month, is that right for the premium?
Yeah,
That is
yeah. I can screen share my finances, but I assume you're gonna ask more finance related questions later. We don't have to get into it now.
yeah, I was gonna ask about it because I did see your B2B take most of your revenue in January, right? So I was gonna ask, I didn't even know you were selling B2B. So what are you selling B2B?
Yeah, it's mainly sponsorship stuff and then some agency work, but I can share my screen. So can you see that?
Yep.
This is the email that I'm gonna send out tomorrow. Um, but there's like a whole financial planning template I did, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do for February. But I ended up like this is the expectation. I expected to make more from B2B than B2C, but I
Mhm.
actually it ended up being more 50-50. But I do cash basis accounting, I think it's called, and not accrual. So like my I actually made I think like over $1,000, like almost $2,000 from selling templates this month, but half of that money is not gonna hit my bank account until March. So I count that as March revenue, not February. But if I counted like all the sales made in February, it would be closer to 50-50. But since, I use a different system, I'm like checking the bank account when the money actually hits the bank account. It's more like 38% and 61%. So this was like my forecast, and then this was like what actually happened. And I was like calculating my time spent and then like what the revenue streams were, and then I outlined it all here. And then my plan for March to basically double that and then like kind of reverse engineering and like going week by week what I need to get done and all of that.
Wow.
So
A true builder in public. That's
yeah.
insane. You said basically December was a huge month. You know, I saw that you went from 3 to 12,000 subscribers. Like once you grew to 12,000, was it like, okay, time to start approaching sponsors or using sponsorships as a main form of income? Or was there a way to incorporate sponsorships before you had all those email subscribers?
I went viral, which helped a lot. And when I started sharing everything, everything was inbound. Like I never really had to reach out to too many sponsors unless it was like a company I really liked and a product I used, then I would reach out to them. And then they would usually say yes. But the first sponsor I got, I think they found me from Twitter or something because I was just sharing everything that I was doing. And they paid me like $300. And I think I had around 10K subscribers or maybe less than that. And back then, like the $300 was so much to me because it was like my first money that I made. And I didn't even do anything. It was just like I hadn't even sent out too many emails yet. And then they just paid me. And I think I undercharged. I think like I undercharged a lot this month. But well, you learn. But yeah, it was mainly them reaching out to me. I gave a lot of discounts because I was like, I'd rather build relationships and like get testimonials so I can pitch to future sponsors. But I
Mhm.
think I did that too much. Because some sponsors just said yes right away, and I was like, oh, I should have charged a lot more.
Mhm.
Um, oh well, now I know.
That's how everyone learns, right? You undercharge yourself in
Yeah.
the beginning. What does a sponsor get when they pay you, and or how much are you charging now?
Okay, so it's very different. I usually get a lot of sponsors from Beehive, which is the platform that I use, and they just um send me like people who want to put an ad in my newsletter, so I don't have to do anything. But they
Mm,
do it on a cost per click basis. So like if a few hundred people click on the sponsor link, then they will pay me like $2 or $3 per click. $3 is a lot actually. So it's usually like $2. So I remember one of the emails I sent, everybody was really engaged with it, and I got a few hundred clicks, and I think times two. So like it was like $600 for that one email, and I was so shocked.
yeah.
So and then like they kept wanting to sponsor me after, but I think people were just clicking on those to support me and not because they liked the sponsor. Because it was some weird business tool that like I still don't really understand what it does. And what I found interesting was that people were willing to pay more, and I got more sponsors for my newsletter than for Instagram. And I noticed that the results for Instagram aren't always good, even though I have the DM automation set up,
Hmm.
so that the engagement boosts the post and it sends them the direct link. Sometimes the Instagram stuff just doesn't do well, or like people don't see it, but if it's in their email inbox, they get it for sure. So I think a lot of people are more willing to pay for that. Last month or like in February, I think I made a mistake because somebody offered me like $1,000 for 3 ad placements in my newsletter for
Hmm.
3 weeks. So that's all of March's ad slots are basically gone because it's like 3 weeks in March, right? So I was
Yeah,
like, dang, now $1,000, which is like a 300 and something per email, but like I can get more than that.
you can get more. Yeah.
Um, so the $1,000 just like shook me. Because when you have a big number like that, I'm like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
But when I do the math and like divide it up, I'm like, oh, this is not that great.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a good problem to have. You've done such a good job, like being transparent and building loyalty. It's really refreshing. It's really cool.
Oh, thanks.
Um,
But I feel like sometimes being too transparent is not good because then all my stuff is just there and anybody can use it against me, but hopefully not.
what are the growth strategies like right now? I know obviously you're big on Twitter, but if you were to kind of lay it out for someone, what was your growth strategy in the beginning and how does it compare to now?
Yeah, I think it's just being consistent and taking action. For like I specialize in Instagram Reels because I had to do that for work as well. And I was just spamming videos, even if they weren't really good, as long as I just kept posting, people saw them. So through that and lead magnets helped a lot. So in the video, I would have like this insane hook and then be like, hey, if you want to have this template, you have to like comment something and I DM the link directly. They don't have to sign up for my email list through it, but I think people appreciate that they don't have to do that and they get the link directly. And then I promote myself like everywhere. And then that way I get higher quality subscribers. So that's one way that I used to grow my personal stuff. For my work stuff, it's just like constantly making the videos and promoting everywhere. And we also grow using Facebook ads, but then I test the videos on TikTok and then take the best one for Facebook ads.
Mm,
Um, so those are the main ways I grow. Twitter, I feel like I don't really grow that much from it. It's more so I look back and see what I've done and then like when I post all my learnings, it's very like stream of consciousness. And I go back at the end of the week and I read through it and I consolidate it for my premium newsletter subscribers. So it just helps me keep things organized. Most of my money, I think, comes from just like my own networks through sponsors or like Instagram Reels. And I have a whole bunch of tips for Instagram Reels, but to be honest, it's gonna depend a lot because I have an agency client where I'm doing Reels for him and like for some reason they're getting 0 views on TikTok and I'm not sure why. So I
hmm,
have to look more into that. And I think it's because we're not posting enough.
hmm.
Only like 30 videos per month, which I undercharged myself again, but it's okay.
So are you doing like freelance stuff outside of newsletter stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't I wanted to try it because I'm like, oh wow, it's like $1,000 from one person or one company. But it was a lot of work for just that. I'd rather work on my own stuff.
Yeah, no, totally. And it seems like it's paying off. When you say like not posting enough, like if you had to give a number, which I'm sure is hard, but what would be like the rule of thumb be for?
It's gonna sound insane, but for my work account on TikTok, the way we grew was I was posting like 5 times a day. But I batch filmed everything, and it was like some of them were like 7-second videos. It was just filming my screen, being like, "Hey, this exists." So it didn't take too much time, and I just had so many videos. I'm like, okay, this is gonna become outdated if I schedule it for like 1 month later. So I needed to post it immediately, and it ended up being like 3 to 5 times a day, um, almost every day, except maybe not on weekends. So it was a lot, and that's how we had a big spike. So we grew from like 0 followers to like 20K or something on TikTok. And then
Mhm.
we grew even more after I started getting better and posting like at least once a day. But most of the growth doesn't come from the consistency. It comes from that one post that does very well and it takes off. And then all the followers come from that one post. But you can't really get to that one post until you post a lot and your videos get better and you kind of understand what people like to see. But I think that only works well on TikTok, because everything's just so much more short-lived there.
Yeah.
So for a work account, I would just post everything on TikTok and then see what does well and then use that to post everywhere else. So like Instagram and ads and stuff.
I love that you're like fully leveraging your job to actually like get better at your business, which is not what people do. They oftentimes don't have a connection like that.
Actually, it's so funny because I think 1 year ago, I also write the newsletter for my work, but my company didn't really see the value in it, so they're like, "Stop spending time on this." So I stopped. But 1 year ago, Beehive interviewed me, and they're like about this work newsletter, and they wanted to learn how I like leverage my work stuff for the newsletter. And then like 1 year later, I have my own newsletter now, so like they recognized me, and they're like, "Hey, like I knew that you were gonna do great things or whatever." And I
Wow,
was like, oh my gosh, this is like full circle moment.
that is so sweet. Beehive is like, I love the company. Their founder is awesome
Yeah.
too. Can you talk a little bit about digital products? I think a lot of people create digital products and they don't turn out the way they want. I think a lot of people comes down to distribution, of course. Have you ever had a digital product just flop and then like what did you do about it and how did you create a better one?
I think there's like a lot of mistakes I made with the master class actually.
Really?
I did not like how it turned out, but it's okay. I learned a lot from it because like some of the emails I sent, it was like the worst emails of my life. But I was like, whatever, this is just, I'll learn from it. But it was too like it sounded a bit scammy, which I think was okay because some people trusted me. But I lost a lot of subscribers after sending emails about my masterclass and being like, hey, learn how to make money online because it sounds so scammy. And the open rates plummeted, a bunch of people unsubscribed. Like there was a big dip you can see
Wow.
in my beehive.
Really?
Um, I'll show you. I think I tweeted about it. I was like, you can literally see the dip, but then also we made over $1,000
Yeah.
during that dip. So I was like, you can see this big dip right here. I lost hundreds of subscribers
Do you,
right here.
you think that
Um,
you think it's because of the copywriting? Because the content itself was like,
yeah.
it was good. So
It was definitely that, but also I think the landing page could have been improved. So it was RJ's landing page, actually, not mine, like his Gumroad and everything.
I figured, yeah.
But like I don't like how the image was so big and then it tells you nothing. So I'm like, I could, because I do landing pages for work and like A/B testing and like conversion rate optimization. I'm like, there's so much that we could improve here. But
Mhm.
Gumroad has a lot of limitations. So I was like, whatever, this is the first time and we'll improve it later.
Mhm.
And then a lot of people actually messaged me after I promoted it on Instagram and I sent them the DM with the link. They were like, "Oh, I don't know how to like sign up," or like, "I don't know how to get this," because they were on mobile and then you have to like scroll all the way to the bottom.
Yep.
And then
Same.
I was like, this is just too much friction. Like the UX is really bad.
Yeah.
Like I have a whole bunch of learnings in my premium newsletter somewhere outlining all the mistakes.
I'll share as someone who bought. I think the timing of your viral tweet is the right word, but the timing was like enough for me to say, I'm gonna learn something from this person. It's also very affordable. $29 is a great price. I even think I would have paid like slightly more, but I think it was right on the money.
RJ actually wanted to charge like way more, but I was like, there's no way. He's way used to like higher pricing, and I'm used to because like for work we sell online courses and it's only like 49 USD or something like that. And even then we struggle to get sales because people are like, this is too expensive. So I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm used to the lower tier pricing.
So I'm in this weekly entrepreneur group with like all these like Taiwanese people, and one guy wanted to ask this, so I hope you don't mind. She's like, she has Beehive on her main landing page, but then she links out to passion fruit and lemon squeezy depending on certain links you choose. Is that a strategic choice, or what's the reason for that?
I feel like half the things I do is just random and it works. But it's just I wanted a place for people to reach out to me to sponsor me and then a place for like that's the B2B and then a place for people to buy from me. So that's B2C. Because what I noticed was I have this website, this Beehive site linked in my bio on Instagram. So every time people comment on my post, they're like, "Oh, I can't find your templates," even though like the post it says like there's a template, so they have to click into it, and but it's too many clicks.
Mhm.
So that's why I was like, "Oh, I should probably link my storefront there." And then that way they can just click once and then see all the templates in one place instead of having to sift through all my other posts, including the premium posts. But even, that's like still multiple clicks. So now what I try to do is like I say, DM me this keyword and I'll DM you the direct link to purchase. So they just have to click the purchase button and that's it.
Mhm.
Um, but I haven't like I need to improve the website a lot. It's just I'm sorting out some technical issues with my domain name and like other stuff. And I'm like, this is not worth my time right now when I could be getting like thousands of dollars from sponsors. So
Mhm.
I'm like emailing sponsors more than I'm like fixing up my website, which isn't really gonna bring me money right now. So it's just picking what to work on that's higher leverage, which is why I did that whole financial planning thing that I shared earlier.
Yeah, no, that's really smart. I just have a few last things. These can be
Sure.
rapid fire. What's your average net profit margin on an average month?
97%.
Okay,
I just did this calculation.
I saw that on your Twitter. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. Because usually platforms take like 5-10% at least, so um
Yeah. I
and
mean, I don't need to spend too much.
no, that's smart. Startup cost to start this whole thing?
I just pay for Beehive, which is like 99 a month, and then my DM automation tool, which is like 65 a month. I paid for CapCut for a meme effects that I wanted, but that video didn't even do well, so I'm not gonna continue paying for that.
Okay.
But yeah.
And then the last one was going to be your tech stack, which you kind of touched on, but I'm curious what specific.
Ooh, okay. I have a whole page. This is also on my storefront, but it's like free on my storefront. So this is my tech stack. Um, most things that I use are here, except I don't really use Calendly anymore.
Mhm.
Some of these are affiliate links though, but I can send this to you.
Any kind of tips or advice for people? Newsletters are so hot right now. They're like all the buzz, right?
I think it's just to stay consistent and then like look at the data and then like adjust accordingly. Is like I feel like I started years ago and it really sucked. Like nobody was watching anything. But since I stuck with it almost every day for years, it finally paid off. So it's just like staying consistent mainly.
Was that posting content or writing that you were doing for you?
Both.
Okay.
So I wrote for my works newsletter every single week, and that got me because I experimented with longer content, but it kind of felt very convoluted and nobody understood what I wrote. So that's why all of my newsletters now they have a lot of headings and it's like very easy to read. There's like bullet points, there's images and stuff.
Mhm.
So you'll just improve the more consistent you are. And it doesn't have to be like every day. It can just be every week or every month. Yeah.
Perfect. I think that's amazing advice. Yeah, if there's anything you want to add, feel free to call it out.
Basically, I've been building in public and getting lots of good advice from people. So I know not everyone's comfortable sharing so much stuff in public, but that's really helped me because somebody told me to validate because I was like, I don't know if I want to do agency work, but let me try it out. To validate that concept, someone told me to sign up for Mentor Quiz, which was a website I didn't know was a thing. So I signed up and not I didn't expect to get anything, but I actually have two mentors now. I priced myself too low again, but a few $100s a month extra from that. And it's been really cool just seeing people's problems because they also want to start up side hustles, but I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know how to tell you this, but you're doing a lot wrong, and I'm gonna like try and help them like as a mentor.
Yeah.
So it's just like, that's why I said take action is so important because you have to like do that to get data and to validate your assumptions. And I feel like a lot of people build stuff and then they try to distribute it and grow, but it's like, oh, you didn't build the right thing.
I think I've learned that, you do the meaningless stuff, build the website, you tweak the colors, the fonts, and it's like that's not going to lead to sales. That's not going to lead to business growth ultimately. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I
yeah,
think my first startup, which was also in education, I worried too much about the small stuff. So I was like, agonizing over which words to use in emails and stuff. But it's like that doesn't even matter. So
yeah.
my second one, like this one, I focused on distribution first and I figured out all the products and everything else after.
See,
Yeah.
that may be a grave mistake that I'm making because I just wanted to do this to meet people. And now that I'm trying to figure out monetization, it's like, well, I don't have distribution to hear customer feedback and have this like flywheel of feedback and product creation.
Did
It's
you study marketing? And like, did you go to university?
I did study marketing and IT, but I learned Facebook ads from losing $10,000 with my first shoe company, and then got traumatized, and then signed up for this boot camp to learn Facebook ads, and then like scaled that shoe business to like 25K a month, with my best month being like 48K in organic sales. But I burnt out too hard. It was like I did everything so wrong, but I learned Facebook ads. And then I learned SEO on my own. And then I also learned email marketing with that first business. But with digital products, I still make that mistake of trying to create the product first and then drive distribution. Yeah, just let me know how I can provide value. And I really hope you hit that 20K mark sooner than
Thanks.
later.
Yeah, I hope so too. We'll see.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too. Have a good one. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.